is a letter from an Asir Rahe Maula from Rawalpindi. He suffered a lot at the hands of a mullah who pressed charges against him, mainly that he said Assalamu alaikum to me. And at 11 o'clock in the daylight, this man, either he addressed him unknowingly by saying Assalamu alaikum or whatever happened, but he said he also invented things which I had not done. I did not distribute any literature. But this man added to all this, to give weight to the report. So it all started by saying, by mistake, he repents having said Assalamu alaikum to this man. But anyway, it happened at 11 o'clock in the morning, this exact time which it was noted, and when this report was registered in the SHO, in the police station. The in charge is SHO. It's called police station or दो किस्म का एक थाना होता है और एक छोटा पुलिस स्टेशन. हाँ, जैसे थानेदार होता है चौकी. हाँ, that's the other word. But this was a regular police station, not चौकी. ठीक है. चौकी को क्या कहते हैं अंग्रेजी? What do you say चौकी? Post. नहीं, पुलिस जैसे छोटा थाना. Post होती है सिर्फ. So he writes a very interesting letter of how this man indulged in lie after lie and put him to so much trouble. After 5 years of appearance and 5 months and 15 days of appearing in the courts and wasting so much time and money and things and going through the botheration, at last he was released with honor. This man, against whom a mullah had moved, his name was also written, Ehsan Danish. This is the name of the mullah who was the main architect of all this nuisance for him. Now, it so happened that as he was released, or about to be released, this mullah himself got involved in a case. And this case was abuse of a child of 10-year-old and criminally assaulting him. And this happened exactly at 11 o'clock in the morning, before noon. So, the newspapers, flashed this बच्चे से ज़्यादती के मुल्ज़िम को 24 घंटे में गिरफ्तार करने का हुक्म. The matter was taken up, although such crimes happen there. But in this case, it was Allah's will to punish him. So immediately the highest authorities ordered, the SSP of Rawalpindi ordered that every effort must immediately be done to have him arrested within 24 hours. He was arrested and a case was registered against him, and then he ran away somehow. And now he is absconding. But the charges are established. So ever since this mullah is running for his life and hiding somewhere, while he, with the grace of Allah, has ultimately been released. So he writes that although there is not a regular mubala involved, but these things happen almost daily in Ahmadis' lives in Pakistan. Somebody, just out of hatred for his faith, transgresses against him, perpetrates cruelties, etc., etc. And he thinks that he would run away with it, but somehow Allah catches him and punishes him thoroughly. A similar case was reported the other day from Larkana. About a mullah who was mainly involved. In fact, he was only person who started the issue of closing the Ahmadiyya mosque and having it locked forever. So they captured, they first of all mobbed the mosque, and the police was there, they were doing nothing, but they arrested the Ahmadis and removed them so that they could occupy. But then the police said, all right, vacate it, we'll have it locked and sealed. So the mosque was closed. This mullah, went beyond all bounds and dedicated himself to torture Ahmadis, to persecute them, to have them prosecuted and so on. Until one day he decided that this is the day when we are going to attack the Ahmadis. Mosque was not opened, I think. It is still shut and sealed. Not in Larkana city, but somewhere in Larkana, in a village. So he said, while he was doing it, he had gathered a large gathering to attack. Suddenly, his son fell ill and had a very severe pain in the tummy somewhere, and died immediately. So all those who had come to attack Ahmadi houses started joining the procession of mourning. They joined the procession of mourning for this young boy. Okay? Got it. Gurgej is the name of the place. Abdul Hadi is the name of the mullah. He had them implicated in some charges which they had not committed, some crimes which had not committed, and had some of the Ahmadis arrested and thrown in jail. And strangely, he says that he started this in 1988, in the year of Mubahala, because suddenly he awakened to this. They are throwing challenges in Mubahala, and this may win them some Ahmadis from around this area. So to counter this effort, he started all this movement in 88. He says, I am committed that I am going to destroy each Ahmadi, and unless I succeed in killing all Ahmadis around and have them killed. He had his contacts with, the professional killers and murderers. I will not rest in peace. He said, my son, this is announced in public, my son is also on the same path. And I promise you that whichever Ahmadi is left from my hand whole, undestroyed, this boy is going to kill him. The week when he announced this is the first case. The other one will come later on, which I was telling you. He said, before the next Jummah, this boy suddenly fell ill, and they rushed him to the hospital. They tried whatever they could, but could not save the boy. He died before his very eyes. And for a while he was in deep shock. He stopped this anti-Ahmadiyya activity. But after a while he thought maybe it was accidental, So he restarted all that campaign against Ahmadis. And then his second son also died exactly like this. A grown-up son of 6 years. This boy also went like this. Suddenly he fell ill, and that really plugged him, and he kept absolutely silent for a while. But when dish antenna started, and people, non-Ahmadis from the area, started gathering in the Ahmadi places and started talking of what a wonderful thing this was they saw, and he was afraid that the whole area would become Ahmadis. Then he started again the same campaign. And before one Jummah, he gave the ultimatum to all the Ahmadis. And now, do whatever you can. I'm giving you ultimatum. I have asked quite a few people from around this village to gather and say their Jummah here. And we are resolved and determined that we are going to break this dish and turn it to pieces, and whoever tries to defend, we will kill him. So no more of this. Finished. Now, before that Jummah, 24 hours before he had served the ultimatum, before this Jummah, before people had gathered all right, but before he could do anything, suddenly the third son fell ill, and he, suffered so much, twisted all around in pain and agony, that they forgot about the dish and turner and rushed him to the nearest city, Larkana. But before he reached the city's hospital, he was already dead. So that gathering for killing Ahmadis turned into a gathering for mourning. So these are also the things which continue to happen. For a smaller area, they are eye-openers, but people don't see it. What sort of accidents were there which took place? Until he had started this hostility against Ahmadiyya, nothing was happening to him. The moment he took it in his hand to destroy Ahmadiyya, Allah started just punishing him, one after the other. Like the signs of Moses, they come and go, and people of the Moses say, all right, this time it's okay. Then they forget, and another sign comes. So this is happening all over the world.
Let's finish.
Others कौन से हैं इस किस्म के वाक़यात जो फर्क? You see, it can never happen that in a mubala all the people should die out. This never happens. But what happens is that Allah brings low those who raise their heads, and sometimes they are killed, sometimes they are punished, like I have quoted the examples. In other ways, so spiritually and morally they are completely destroyed. And those whom Allah loves and supports, they grow from strength to strength. And the treatment is never alike. The difference is so visible. This is the point which is served by Allah. You see, if two people go into Mubala, and Allah has fixed the ages of everybody according to His own plan, how can we say that suddenly I think I should go for Mubala and everybody who accepts Mubala should be killed without any reference to Allah's plan of His fixation of His age? So some are destroyed because Allah pre-plans them to be destroyed like that. But not all of them. It has never happened before. But signs do appear. This is not a case which is left undecisive. If it is left undecisive, there is no sense in Mubala. Then nobody can be guided to the right path by saying, all right, everybody is not killed, so. This is not true. There has to be a distinction, like between day and night. As far as the treatment of Allah is concerned, those who are dear to Him, He supports them, He enlarges their work and their successes in the world, and they become to grow in the sight of those who hate them. You can't stop this. This is one sign. The other, those who come to accept the challenges or laugh at these things, they are reduced continuously. Either they are killed or they are brought to shame, like the two cases I have just quoted. But there are so many such cases which are reported from all over Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, and so many other places. So I have asked my office to collect them. One day maybe we are able to publish a long book of so many volumes of how Allah treats them. But it's not just a mubahala, it's an ongoing process. Every country has witnessed this, that those who dedicate themselves against Ahmadiyya, they come to a despicable end, shameful end, and they never succeed. Sometimes their punishment is exactly what they propagated against Masih Islam. I can quote two examples from history of these cases. There was one mullah who was very, very brazen-faced person and had no shame whatsoever. He used to particularly brag about Hadhrat Masih's death in toilet. That was his favorite issue. That he died in toilet, and you say he is a prophet of Allah. He is not an ordinary person. God brought him to such low end. So once, and Ahmadis were very deeply hurt, of course, but they prayed and they couldn't do anything about it. So once in Chuniot, he, after attending this jalsa and basking in the glory of what he had succeeded in, in winning the favor of so many people from all classes of life, all walks of life. It was a big jalsa he organized. As he was walking back, drunken in that glory, which he thought was a glory, there was a manhole on the way from which someone had stolen the lid. So he went whole into the manhole. The dirt and filth and stool and things and blood and everything of the people of Chuniot was running underneath. So this man got drowned and died there. When people retrieved his corpse, stinking all over filth. And still these people don't see it. These signs keep appearing here and there. But it doesn't mean that whoever says everybody would be the same. This is not Allah's way. He appears with his signs here and there, specimen signs. And for those who have eyes and who have wisdom, they get the message. There's one such mullah in Burma. Everywhere these signs appear exactly like this. This mullah said that he had been to India, he had seen Qadian, he had met people there, and he has collected enough evidence to the fact that Mirza Ghulam Ahmad was a one-eyed monster, like Dajjal. So his right eye was blind and the left eye was big and prominent. So he said, I am coming from there. What is this Ahmadi Muballigh doing here? I have gone there myself, met the witnesses. So he from the pulpit on one Friday, that I am announcing this is true. And after delivering this sermon, he felt some irritation in the eyes and went to a doctor. And he said, all right, don't worry, I'm going to give you some eye drops. But by mistake, instead of dropping the curative solution, he dipped this, the dropper, yes, the rubber thing, he dipped it in a very strong poison. And both these fires were close to each other. So by mistake, not by mistake, but by it was ordained, so there's no mistake on his part. He picked and dropped that poison in his eyes. It's acid. Acid corrodes. It's so painful that mullah ran away shrieking at the top of his voice. Oh, people, come, what has happened? And the whole eyeball was eaten up. He was saved, his life was saved. But whenever he appeared in the pulpit, that right eye was gone. So these things happen even today. Every day I receive letters, and my file, which when I tell the press secretary to keep them, it will be a bulging file now. So I told them to take some away and so that I could read by way of specimens. What else is there? Yeah.
May I,
Oh, please. Yes. He has stolen the lid. You know, the iron lid, and people sometimes steal the lid away. See, it was not just he went blind. Eyeball got dissolved with acid, and what was left was a pit. The entire eyeball was gone.
yes.
You have told him?
No. I mentioned that it is acid.
Yes. No, in 1988, it so happened that when Ahmadis distributed this Mubala challenge, they distributed to everybody. Thousands of, maybe 100,000 were distributed. Some people read it and left it alone. Nothing happened to them. But those who kicked back and said, all right, we do not care, let the wrath of Mubala fall upon us, things happened to them. So when these things were reported, you know, I never trusted any letter writer. I sent those letters to the Amir of Zilla or the Nazir-e-Islah Irshad and instructed them to investigate this fully, get evidence, signed evidence from not only Ahmadis, from non-Ahmadis. Then send them back to me, because there is a trust with us, it's history, which is being unrolled under God's special command. So we are trustees, we must keep the full record and pass it on to the next generations for them to take their nasiha. So out of this file, I am just quoting two things. In district Shahkot, in Tehsil Shahkot or township of Shahkot in district Shekhupura, when Mubahala pamphlet was distributed, there was one man by the name of Ashok Hussain. He took it into his hand to excite people against Ahmadiyya, went to the mullahs, why don't you have a jalsa, Mubahala jalsa? And we should settle the issue now here. So a big session was, he managed to collect people, very large number, and mullahs delivered fiery speeches against Ahmadiyya. And he said, this is the beauty of my design, my plan, that we should kill every Ahmadi in this town before the end of the day. Then we can tell them, look here, this is the Mubahala which kicked back on you. So they decided to move in a long, very excited and with dangerous procession, which had decided to do things to Ahmadis. And while they were about to leave, he said, I have a little something to do at my shop. So I'll run to that shop and wait there for you. You come and collect me, and then we will move along. When they reached the shop, he was already dead. Because it was a summer day. You know, I used to the Mubahala in June, so it happened soon after. So there was something wrong with his fan. So he wanted to put the wires right. It short-circuited, and he dropped dead, burnt right from top to bottom, immediately. So when they called on him, there was no underpass. He went in, there he was. So instead of going to Ahmadi houses and attacking them and killing every Ahmadi, they took that corpse and carried it to Qabristan. That was the end of the Mubahala with this man. This happened very soon after the Mubahala challenge, because the date of reporting is 31/7/88. The challenge was issued on the 10th of June.
It was announced also in June.
Yes, it was announced in June. But this report reached me on the it was signed 31/7/88, about a month after this. There was one Maulvi Tajuddin. He was from Padidan. When I was in Waqf-e-Jadid, I also received some very filthy letters from him. And there would be in the file, find out if they would still. But he was repeatedly punished by God in so many ways, but he wouldn't desist from doing things. Find out if it's the same Tajuddin I'm talking about. But what happened in the year of Mubahala, when Mubahala challenge was issued, he became violent. He was already dedicated to the antagonism to Ahmadiyya, but after Mubahala he became almost rabid. So at last he decided, again like this, the person from Sheikhupura, that I am a great mullah of this area, they would follow except my edict against Ahmadis. So he issued the edict that all Ahmadis have forfeited their lives in the sight of Allah. So after this Mubahala, they have no right to live. So go and kill any Ahmadi you come across. This is what Islam requires of you. Having done that, within a short time, this man himself was brutally murdered. And this happened in May 89, just before the end of the year of Mubahala. His name was Mauli Tajuddin of Patidan.
Yes.
You see, everywhere in the Punjab, in Sindh, everywhere, things began to happen, which happened after the Mubahala challenge was issued. And according to our investigations, they happened only to those who disdained this and looked down upon it and used abusive language against Masih Islam after Mubahala and said, what's this slaughter and this and thing. Those who behaved like that, they were caught. Ordinarily today, it was distributed in hundreds of thousands, maybe in 100,000, but it doesn't mean that everybody who received the Mubarak, he must be killed. People who were well known, who stood out, it was they who were chosen for punishment, like Ziaul Haq, like Mazur Chandoti and so on. But there was one other person by the name of Sayyid Abbas Ali Shah, after Tajuddin. He again was from Zila district Sheikhupura. When he received this Mubahala challenge, he went to the marketplace, showed it to the people. He said, look here, I have been delivered this challenge. Now be witness to it that I accept it. Here is it. Within 20 days, he got killed. He died. Suddenly he fell ill. Within 20 days, after this open declaration. So those who were saved from the wrath were those who hid under cover and made some excuses and this and that. So Allah lets them do that. But those who left no room for any mercy from Allah, they were treated like this. His name was Sayyid Abbas Ali Shah. And date nahi di isme. Find out about the exact date. Because this is said that Mubahala challenge, when he received, he went out. When did it happen? There is no date.
Around July.
Could be, yes.
Yes,
You were there, mashallah. It tells me that very little time is left, so I'll turn to another mullah of great renown, well known all over Pakistan, and who was, in the forefront of hostility against Ahmadiyya. His name was Abdul Haq Haqqani. He was a great leader of Jamiat Ulama Islam of Pakistan. Akhuda Khatak is his place where he opened and founded a Darul Uloom Haqqaniya. A man of great renown and well-known Maulvi of the whole northwest province. Also all over Pakistan, mullah mind people know what sort of man he was. When he received Mubahala on 3rd of August 88, he behaved exactly as I have told you. He was a very proud man, used to, he used very sort of rough language against Ahmadis. No decency in his expressions. So it is, what do you mean? This nonsense, this shocking thing. To obey this and that. And on September 88, suddenly, without rhyme or reason, he died. This was delivered to him on 3rd of August 1988, and September 88, date is not given here. Huh? Find out. It is next month, all right, but how far away from this Mawala? Let me know.